one in Huntsville on South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road. Our new locations include Madison at Madison Hospital Complex and Coleman at the Coleman Regional Sports Medical Center. You can call 256-715-7151 to set up your appointment with one of our experienced and compassionate team members, or you can visit online at varicosityveincenter.com. Varicosity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
7 ESPN The Zone.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good afternoon and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you are with us for this 2-hour exercise in radio excellence. And today for the Top 10, we're going to take a look at the NFL draft from a different perspective, as in, where did these draft picks play their high school football? What state are they from? And who produces the most talent? Now, look, IMG Academy is in Florida, and they had 3 players drafted. But I'm not sure that those are actually Florida guys. I mean, it's the same with Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. I mean, are those actually Nevada guys? Now, J.C. Latham, for example, he was born in Mississippi. He was raised in Wisconsin. He went to high school in Wisconsin. And then he transferred his junior year to IMG Academy in Florida, and he's listed as a Florida guy. That's not a Florida guy. J.J. McCarthy also gets credited to Florida since he went to IMG. But dude's from Illinois, okay? He played there until his junior year in high school. So you see what I'm saying? 3 of the 5 Nevada kids are actually from Bishop Gorman. So these high school academies, they soak up some talent. In any event, we have the list of what state produces the most NFL talent. And I want to also look at the per capita list, since the top 5 states for producing NFL talent per capita are all SEC states. All right, so I've got that in front of me as well. So we'll try and get that out here for you. Now, the first hour of the show is absolutely wide open for you. Then it's going to get busy in hour number 2. But the first hour is wide open. So if you want to jump on the lines, this is the time to do it. at 256-576-4977. You can use your text window as well, exclusive to the Thom Abraham Show, at 73229-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. The text window now about 13 years old. It is a great way to communicate with us. We used to take faxes. When I started, we used to take a fax to show, and we would get faxes in, and I would read the faxes on the air. Now we use the text one. Of course, you've always had the social media as well, but the text window is genius, to be honest with you. It really is. I don't even know what made us think of it. We got it in 2007. So what is this? I'm going to carry to one. I misspoke. The text window is 17 years old? 17 years old now, the text window. And you say, well, why is it 732? That's a New Jersey exchange. Oh, it must be because the dog is from up there. No, I'm not from New Jersey. I've been to New Jersey like twice in my life, okay? It has nothing to do with New Jersey. The guys who did the text window wanted a vanity. They wanted TA show. They wanted a vanity number, so they wanted TA show. So the only way we could get TA show was 7329. All right, that was the exchange that we were assigned, 7329. Okay, so it's 732-982-7469. That is the text the show, not to call the show. If you call the show, you're calling 256-576-4977. And again, vanity number. That's not a coincidence that it's 4977. All right, we wanted 4977. So that's what we ended up with, a 576 into 256-4977. Okay, so that's how you get in touch with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's X feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can get a link to our YouTube channel, which is WZZN TV. If you notice, if you're watching on WZZN TV, today I am in the palatial downtown Huntsville studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. All right, that's where I am today. So you can check that out. All right, just go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our app. Just search 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and you'll find the app. And then once you have the app, you get links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 and Zone 5 as well, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. And while you're at it, snag your Talk Radio WZZN app as well for even more options. You check out the calendar at 977ESPN.com as well. Now, if you're looking for Trash Panda Baseball and you hear us say it's at 97.7-2, all right, that is our digital over-the-air station that is for Fox News, Fox Sports, and the Trash Pandas, all right? That's not Zone 2, okay? It's 97.7-2 on your digital dial. If you don't have a digital radio, get one. If you don't have a digital radio, though, you can listen on the app, okay? If you simply download the app for Talk Radio WZZN, just look at Talk Radio WZZN on your app store, and you will get the app for 97.7 WZZN, and then you can listen to Josh Carey in all his glory doing the games. Now, tomorrow you'll hear him on both 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and on Talk Radio WZZN, because we're gonna have the game. It's a daytime game, and we're gonna have a doubleheader of baseball action for you tomorrow. All right, so we'll have that for you tomorrow. We'll have the Trash Pandas first, followed by the Braves after that, and hopefully the Braves won't have a no-hitter broke up in the ninth inning with a single and a home run to win the game against the suddenly hot Seattle Mariners. More on that in a moment. All right, so the first hour is wide open. At the top of the second hour of the show, at the top of the one, David Moulton, whose show Miller and Moulton in the Morning starts your day at 5 a.m. on Talk Radio WZZN. He will also join us with his thoughts on the draft and a number of other things. He's also had a front row seat to the run the Tampa Bay Lightning have been on over the years as they go quietly into the night last night, and you have to wonder whether that run is now over. I mean, the Lightning were in the Stanley Cup final for 3 straight years, 2020, 2021, 2022, and they won 2 of those 3. They were also in the final back in 2015. So you wonder if that's coming to a close. And then the buck stops here. Well, $2 will stop here. When Buckhorn football coach Matt Patterson and their hoops coach Patrick Harding stop by the studio. Oh, that's right. They'll be right over there. Here, we'll show you the empty seats where they're going to be right now. Maybe we'll show you the empty seats where we're going to show you right now. I'm not sure. But right over there, see those 2 empty chairs over there in that Buckhorn football helmet? That's where they're going to be sitting, right there, okay? And that's coming up a little bit later on in the show, and we'll muck it up. I am looking for a call from LSU Lynch while the coaches are here, okay? So LSU Lynch, while the coaches are here, you need to hit us up with a phone call and tell them just how great Buckhorn athletics are. Drama in the NBA last night. Long live the king. The king is dead. Jamal Murray put LeBron James on a poster that sent L.A. packing. Maybe it ended James's career. Now, he was asked flat out that if he thought that this was his last game. Then he paused, and he said, I'm not going to answer that. And so it will go into the summer. This is what it sounded like on Denver radio last night when the Nuggets finished off the Lakers.
High right side is Jamal Murray. 9 on the shot clock. Denver looking for a game winner. Murray has it on the high right side. High pick from Jokic. Murray, jumper from 8. Got it again! 3.6 seconds left for the Lakers. LeBron over to Prince. Jumper's no good at the horn. And the LA Lakers can take that L on the way out. Along with that whistle. Denver takes care of La La Land for the second game in a row. Might be the best win I've ever seen. The Los Angeles Lakers and their free throws can go back to La La Land.
That was fantastic. Jason Kaminsky. I think it's Kaminsky. Is it Jason Kaminsky or Jason Kaminsky? Kosmicki? Jason Kosmicki, I guess is his name on Denver radio. I mean, that is fantastic. The Los Angeles Lakers can go back, and their free throws. The Los Angeles Lakers and their free throws can go back to La La Land. Great call. That was a great call. And in Miami, did you see the Jason Tatum Bam Adebayo collision? Adebayo collision that resulted in a flagrant foul on Adebayo. I mean, Tatum looked like he got shot from the crowd. Did you see that? The way he went down. I barely saw hardly any contact. I thought, he must have kneed him in the galloons. He must have cup checked him, right? No. I mean, he barely hit him. I mean, not for nothing. I have zero rooting interest, except for I hate the Celtics. But I have zero rooting interest in that thing. I'm not, pulling for the Heat. I don't care. All right? But Adebayo, he barely touches the guy. And Tatum goes down, and they call a flagrant 1 on that thing. So Celtics are 1 game away from moving on. The Knicks can finish off Philly tonight in the Garden. By the way, can I just say this? You know I'm a uniform geek, right? I am a uniform geek. I admit that I'm a uniform geek. Can the, by God, Boston Celtics please wear green on the road? And can the New York Knicks wear blue on the road? Why do the Celtics have to wear black on the road with their green Celtic writing on there? And why do the Knicks have to wear black on the road with their blue, orange writing on their jersey? Can the Celtics wear green, and can the Knicks wear blue? Okay? I mean, get off my lawn. I get that, but come on. Man. Anyway, the Knicks can finish off Philly tonight in the Garden. As I said, too, personally, this is a 2-battery night for me. This is going to be a problem. I just texted my wife before the show started that I love you, honey. Because the next text is going to be, look, I got to watch sports tonight till 8:30, 9 o'clock. Can I watch sports to 8:30, 9 o'clock? She'll be fine with it. I hate to do that to her because it's just going to leave time for one show. But I got to watch sports tonight to 8:30. It's a 2-battery night. I mean, the Knicks are finishing off Philly tonight in the Garden. The Bruins are trying to finish off Toronto. Got to watch that. That'll get top billing. The Yankees are in Baltimore. I mean, the Yankees and the Orioles, the two best records in the American League. There's something so glorious about seeing the Yankees and the Orioles both being good, playing baseball together. I mean, that's must-see TV as well. I don't know how much of that I'll get to watch. Gunnar Henderson with a leadoff homer for Baltimore last night, and that held up for a 2-0 win, 2-0 win, after the Yanks scored 36 runs in 3 games in Milwaukee. They scored 30 runs in the last 2 days, and they got shut out last night. And in Seattle last night, while you were sleeping, Max Fried and Seattle's Bryce Miller each threw 6 no-hit innings. It was just the 7th time in the last 50 years that both teams took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Fried had thrown 100 pitches, though, through 6 innings. So I guess by, rule, he needs to come out of the game. I think if he threw 101 pitches, his arm would fall off and the manager would get fired, and it would be the end of baseball as we know it if he threw, 101. So he threw 100 pitches. He had to come out of the game. The Braves then break through in the 7th inning. Now they're up 1-0. And in the bottom of the 9th, A.J. Minter comes in. Seattle still doesn't have a hit, by the way. So the Braves relievers, in the 7th and the 8th had kept things at bay. Seattle still doesn't have a hit. Jorge Polanco, or George Polanco, if you will, he gets a knock on Minter's very first pitch in the bottom of the 9th. And then Mitch Garver hits a 2-run bomb. Good night, everyone. Please turn your headlights on before you leave the parking lot. I mean, that's a brutal one. I've said this about baseball. I'm going to say it again. Pay attention to what I'm telling you right now. Baseball is a 62-game season. It's a 62-game season. Okay? Here's the deal. Everyone in baseball, I had to tell my sons this again last night because they were going nuts over the fact that the Yankees got beat 2-0 by the Orioles. Everybody in baseball is going to win 50 games. Everybody in baseball is going to lose 50 games. So you take 100 games and you set 100 games have already been decided. 50 wins and 50 losses, you put those aside. That leaves 62 games. What's your record in those other 62 games? Here's the problem. You don't know which games are one of the 62 until they're played out, okay? So last night, when the Yankees were getting beat by the Orioles, that's just one of them 50 losses. That's just one of them. You're going to lose 50. You're going to lose 50 times. You're going to have a loss. 50 times you're going to go to bed disappointed that your team lost. 50. For the Braves last night, that was one of the 62. That was one of the games that was a win that became a loss. That was a game that you should have won. That's a game you got to win. Okay? You take a no-hitter into the 9th inning, you're going to win that game. You lost that game. So that's one of those 62 games that determines what your final record will be. Now, if you go 40-12 in 62 games that are in flux, all right? If you go 40-12 in those, you're a playoff team. That's a 91 team. If you go 50-2, or no, 50-12, I'm saying if you go 40-22, you're a playoff team. If you go 50-12, you're a 100-win team, and you get beat in the first round of the playoffs. So that's the way baseball is. I'm just telling you. All right. That made the guy in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling a little upset last night, but he's still playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax. He's still manning the phones. He's still making sure that the AC is working. And he's keeping us on the air. He's the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizzlicious, I really appreciate you getting the air back on for me.
For you.
Because I know that was your whole goal.
I mostly got it on for the morning blitz.
No.
Yeah.
Screw the morning, guys. We don't care about that. The idea was to make sure that by the time I got here on Tuesday, that the air was working, okay?
And our guests, too. I would hope that you'd tell the guests not to come if we didn't have it fixed by then. But, yeah,
I didn't even worry about it not being fixed by then. I knew that all the efforts would be made to make sure that the air was working.
Phone calls were made. Yeah.
By the time I got in here. Now, the one thing is now, I see that there's this ginormous industrial orange fan that looks like that we
I
got
don't know
it.
It is.
I assume that we got that from Valley Equipment. I mean, that's
Maybe.
It might have come from
Or
Valley
Steve's.
Equipment.
I'm not sure.
Or it came from Steve's.
Yeah.
House. Steve's. I want. You know what I want to do one time?
Go to his garage.
I want to do a remote from Steve's garage.
Yes.
I want to just because he's got crap in his garage that he must have all kinds. Every time you say, "Hey, Steve, we need a table," I got one in my garage. Hey, Steve, where is this? Oh, it's in my garage. Steve, what about a fan that's the size of Connecticut? Oh, I got one of those in my garage.
Do like an American Pickers type show where we go in there and like, do a whole video of just the craps that
we
Steve
know he's
has
a
in his
hoarder,
garage.
right? We know that he's a hoarder, but I want to see Steve's garage. Now, do you think that that's Steve's? Who do you think? Because if it's Steve's, it'll be here for 2 more months.
Steve got the little fan out of here, so I'm thinking that maybe it's not his.
Maybe it's
it could
the
be
building
next
owner.
door. Yeah, I think it's Jay's.
So that's what they did. They brought us a fan that would blow off all the cameras and all the signs. Everything would just blow down. I mean, that fan there, it's got like a
you can turn it down, but yeah, it's
got
kind of
like
weird how you have
airplane
to
engine on it.
You have to get the switch just right in the middle to turn it off.
So what's the over/under on how long the orange ginormous fan the size of Connecticut will be in the building?
I give it like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
So you're thinking it could be 10 and a half, somewhere in there for the over/under
like that,
on how long that fan will stay in this building.
Yeah. I could go ask Jay probably today if he's here, the building owner. But
maybe it's Steve.
I don't know.
I don't think
I could
it's
text
Steve.
Steve and ask.
Steve
He would have
can't
grabbed
have
it
a
if
fan
it was his. I would think.
No,
maybe.
No. Are you kidding me? We got stuff. Where'd the table come from?
Well, that's Steve's.
Okay.
But we left that at the park, and I grabbed that. Steve wasn't here.
At the baseball park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It'll be there until next 2 Wednesday. We'll be at the park again next week.
Should just put it in that closet it was in. Wasn't really a closet. It was their bullpen.
Does it? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not their bullpen, but their
just hide stuff there. Just,
cages.
Just take over the Toyota Field. Just start hiding stuff around Toyota Field. Be like an Easter egg hunt. All right. Did I say the first hour is wide open? I did.
You did.
I did.
Yeah.
I said the first hour is wide open. Were you watching or listening? I guess you can't watch. Were you listening to the Braves last night?
Yeah, I was listening. Yeah, it's frustrating when you see something like that. When you've got starting pitching doing really well. It's the back end that's kind of up and down. AJ Minter just, a few series ago was able to, in crunch time like that, was able to close a side. You have the AJ Minter of old where you're going to get that back and forth. I think the one thing that that's really frustrating is watching, your top 3 players in Acuna, Riley and Olsen all strike out about 7 times in that game, and they account for 6 home runs since the start of the season. Their batting average is between 240, and they're just not playing well. But but what's good is you're still sitting pretty on top of the MLB.
Oh, look, I got,
and it's early, and you said 62 games. I get it. It's just frustrating to watch the top guys not get it done when it's like the role players are doing great, and then it's like the pitching's doing great, but how long does the pitching do, especially the older pitching?
Here's my my gosh, how many texts are here? Here's my text from last night during baseball. we have a text group. Can you see that?
Yeah,
I see it. See the name?
Yeah.
All right, tell the people what
there we go. You can
tell the people what the name. If you can see it, can you see the name of the group?
I can't see. Even with my glasses, I probably couldn't see that far.
All right, the name of the group is Italian Stallions. All right, that's me and my 4 sons.
Sounds like a Birmingham Stallions Italian group.
Right, Italian Stallions. That's the name of the group, and it's me and my 4 sons. Okay, are in the Italian Stallions group. All right, so Danny. All right, starting at 142 yesterday, Danny says MLB fixing uniforms by next season. Now, Danny doesn't work in the business like John and I.
Yeah.
Right? And Danny is a motorcycle mechanic, so he doesn't know like we know, okay? For us, that was like old news. You know what I mean? We heard about that earlier in the day, but we didn't. So Joe who also doesn't work in the business anymore. Joe, who used to work in the business, doesn't work in the business anymore. Joe says, fixing them, I thought there was nothing wrong with them. And he used a picture of my grandson with the big, his face all like, oh my God. John, who does work in the business, presumably, all right, the Captain Cool, he said numbers bigger, jerseys more traditional, as they should be. Okay, so then the game gets going. Okay, last night the game gets going. So 6:40 last night, Joe is predicting home runs. Soto going yard here when Juan Soto comes up. He loves, calling a shot. What Joe does is that during the game, he calls his shot like on 30 things during the game, and one will hit, and then he'll say,
"Oh, but it's a home run."
Look at me, I nailed it.
That's a home run right here.
So then Danny says, "I can't believe Verdugo is on paternity leave right now. Such an important series." So Joe is like,
"You go to your wife."
So Joe's like, "Forget that. Guys will play thousands of games in his life. Can't idolize the game. Some things are more important. It's a 162-game season. If one guy's missing a couple of games in April that keeps them from winning the series in November, then they don't deserve it." Danny says, "Blows my mind how bad a hitter Grisham is." So now he hates Grisham because he's 0 for 2 last night. He hates Grisham. So then Joe says, "I'm so tired of Stanton." Did you see what happened? Oh, you didn't see what happened. You didn't watch the game.
No.
So Giancarlo Stanton never runs. All he does is jog. He just never runs, right? So there's a ball. Giancarlo Stanton's on first after being walked, okay? The dude comes up behind him. It's the catcher, Austin Wells. Comes up behind him. Dude rips one, laces one over the second baseman's head. The second baseman jumps for it. Stanton takes about 3 or 4 steps off of first, and then he stops just to make sure the guy doesn't catch it because he doesn't want to get doubled off. That's fine. The ball clearly goes over his head and goes to the right fielder, right? Stanton then jogging to second baseman. The right fielder picks the ball up and throws it to second, and Stanton is out by a step and a half. He's jogging to second base and gets thrown out at second. The kid loses the hit, right? Wells, he loses the hit. And Stanton's out in a 1-0 game. In a 1-0 game. And he's just jogging to second and gets thrown out at second on a hit to right field.
Saw the play where Ron Washington goes insane over the base running because the guy completely runs second base and gets tagged out. And he's just like, it's pitiful. He's like, we had a moment. He's like, he had a moment. He had a young moment. It's just like, it's pitiful. It's pitiful base running.
Unreal. Just unreal. So, He said, "I'm so tired of Stanton. Make him walk back to New York." Then Thomas says he's playing better than Judge so far, which is not true. All right. And I'm like, no, Judge has, Judge is coming on strong, and he's got more home runs, and he's playing great in the field. Joe says 30 runs in the last 2 days, and today they're going to get shut out. This is classic Boone Yankees. Then I'm watching the game 20 minutes later than them because I paused the game to have dinner with my wife.
Yeah.
So then I put the game back on. So now it's 20 or 30 minutes later, and now I'm upset with Stanton. So I'm like, Stanton's just jogging to second base, and it's called out. I said call him out. The announcers aren't saying anything. They're not even calling him out. It's not that he got caught flat-footed. That's what they said. Oh, he got caught flat-footed. No, he didn't get caught flat-footed.
No.
He got caught flat-footed and then jogged to second base.
He didn't watch and go.
And then I texted, of course, Severino is throwing a no-hitter for the Mets because Luis Severino, formerly of the Yankees, was the Mets. He had a no-hitter going.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Then Joe says, can't play small ball. Geez, I thought Cabrera raked because it looked like Cabrera hit a home run. I said it would have been a home run before they pushed the fences back. Unreal shutout, unreal. They're all pissed off, right? So I had to write 162 guys. It's 162 games, okay? One baseball game got all of this conversation. What was 162 games? And so Danny's like, Verdugo's out. Look at this lineup. You have to get rid of Stanton. Grisham can't hit off of position players. And then a bunch of nobodies. Trammell, Jeremy Jones. Stanton makes me furious every time I see him jog to first base. Volpe is the only one that hustles. Freaking Soda hustles every swing at a bat, but that's all the Stanton had. I mean, it's like, guys, Calm down. It was one baseball game.
They need to sit around with Wes. You should listen to Wes every afternoon. If Steve has a freak out over the Braves like he normally does, it's just like Wes is just like, calm down. I mean,
crazy,
he's like, what are we in? Like game 40? Calm down.
Crazy. All right, gotta get a break in here. When we come back, we'll go to the lines. Lines are open. LSU Lynch is up first. We'll get our Tuesday top 10 in. We want to know where these guys that got drafted in the NFL came from. What states did they come from? We'll tell you that stuff as well. And then after LSU Lynch comes on with us, we're going to put him back on hold, and he's got to stay on hold all the way until the Buckhorn basketball and football coach is here in the studio, unless LSU Lynch wants to come down here. For those of you that don't know the story, LSU Lynch is he's Hazel Green through and through. He's a Trojan through and through. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back. Phone calls are next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Folks, it's Truck Month and more at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey, Bobby White back again with the best selection and best deals on F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Come on in for financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on a 2023 F-150 Crew Cab, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. Put an F-150 in your driveway for $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 4/30/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, you can choose from nearly 30 Expeditions with financing as low as 2.9% for 72 months. And talk about freedom, never stop at a gas station again in the all-electric 23 Mach-E with financing as low as 0% for 72 months. Come see us today. It's Truck Month and more at Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast through a good chunk of Tuesday afternoon. That activity is going to linger as we head into Tuesday evening. That being said, the afternoon certainly not going to be a washout. We're going to get to enjoy a couple of peaks of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s, lower 80s, dropping into the mid and upper 50s as we head into the overnight. The sunshine returns as we head into your Wednesday, plenty of it, as a matter of fact, and that's going to allow temperatures to climb into the mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Santana is brought to you by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Visit Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department for routine checkups to keep your Ford and other brand in perfect working order. And if you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians will quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to resolve it. Service includes preventative maintenance checks on belts, hoses, and fluids, plus air conditioning, brake, and transmission repair. Woody Anderson Ford also offers mobile service where they'll come to you. Their convenient mobile program services include oil changes, tire rotations, or parts replacements such as windshield wipers or lights. And if you're only available on a weekend or in the evening, our Quick Lane service is your one-stop shop to service brakes, tires, and batteries. No matter the service your Ford needs, Woody Anderson ensures quick, professional, and exceptional service. It's Woody Anderson Ford, the only place I've gone for the last 20 years. All right, let's get LSU Lynch in here. Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
This is going to be quick. You hear me?
I can hear you
I'm
perfectly.
sitting there, got a cold beer, looking at the show, and then you slip it in, didn't you?
I did.
You done slipped it in with a camera view,
yeah,
and then said that team name that I hate. Go Trojans. Go Bucks.
Does that mean? Do you think that means that we can't get him?
He probably won't call back.
You don't think we can get him during
He'll be a couple beers in by then.
I was kind of hoping. I mean, you don't think we could get him?
You're trying to get like a call-in line for the.
I thought that he would call. You don't think he would want to call during the?
Nah.
I thought for sure that he would want to jump
Probably not
on
a big
board
Bucks
with those
fan.
guys. I don't know, man. I think it would be great for him to come in studio. You know, maybe he get like a signed, get something signed or something from the guys. Wouldn't that be something good? You know, that would work out. I would think that would work. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, give it to me, Grizz. Give me that Tuesday top 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday top 10. All right, Grizz, what state do you think provided the most players in this draft, this year's draft? What do you think state produced the most players in this year's draft?
California.
You would be wrong. Dang. What would be your next choice?
Florida.
Florida would be correct. Ding,
Okay.
ding, 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 ding. Okay. You would be right with Florida. They had 30 players drafted. Now, it's the fifth time over the last 7 drafts that Florida has led the way with picks, including Terrion Arnold. But they also get credit for J.C. Latham and J.J. McCarthy, and they're really not Florida guys. They just happen to be at IMG. They're 3 of the guys that were at IMG. Did you know Michael Penix Jr., your guy, Michael Penix Jr., do you get your Michael Penix Jr. jersey yet? Do we know if Michael Penix Jr. is getting number 9 at Atlanta? Do we know if he's getting the 9? Because Kirk Cousins is number 8. He always wears 8.
I thought maybe he was going to go 1, but
well, they had the 1 because he was the first-round pick.
Yeah, but I thought maybe he was sticking with that number though too. But
Dallas Turner is one of the Florida guys. You know what I mean? But 3 of the guys came from IMG Academy: Latham, McCarthy, and Xavier Thomas, the Clemson kid. Right?
Oh yeah.
Xavier Thomas is from South Carolina, and he was another kid that as a junior left his high school in South Carolina, went to IMG Academy, and that's where they were. Now Texas was second, not California IA. Texas was second with 24. Georgia had 23. Okay. California was 4th with all those kids they got. All right. But the Snowflake State was 4th with 18 selections. That was the 4th most. Yeah. You know, Brock Bowers is from California. I don't know if you knew he was a California kid or not, but he was one of the ones.
Looked like his dad's not allowed in Vegas, though.
I don't know what the deal is.
That was a little silly.
Do we know what the story is with that? Louisiana had 11. I get this. This might surprise you. This is the most surprising one on the list to me.
Yeah.
New Jersey had 11.
Wow.
I mean, think about how small New Jersey is.
Yeah.
Now,
a lot of talent.
There's a lot of people that live in New Jersey. But New Jersey had 11, and it's really surprising because so New Jersey had 11. How many did New York have? Let me see how many New York's a hell of a lot bigger than New Jersey. New York only had 5 kids. 5 kids that were in the draft. New Jersey had 11, and New York has 5. And of the 5 kids in New York, 2 of them were from downstate. Actually, West Hampton Beach, that's kind of out there too. A kid from Brooklyn and a kid from the Bronx, okay? So upstate New York, all of the upstate New York. Where's West Hampton Beach? That's got to be in the Hamptons probably, out on Long Island, right? So out of the whole upstate of New York, only a couple of kids in the NFL draft. Alabama had 10. That doesn't suck. You know, when you think about the size of the state. Alabama, Maryland had 10. North Carolina had 10. How about Ohio with only 10?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What was Ohio with only 10?
10. Same as Alabama.
Yeah.
All right, the 10 from Alabama. Chris Abrams-Drain from Spanish Fort. Marcus Harris from Montgomery Park Crossing. DJ James from Spanish Fort. Cedric Johnson from Davison down in Mobile. Kamari Lassiter out of American Christian Academy in Tuscaloosa. Kool-Aid McKinstry, of course, Pinson Valley. Bo Nix, Pinson Valley. We're really kind of Scottsboro, but still Alabama. Nehemiah Pritchard from Jackson. Will Reichert out of Hoover. And Nathaniel Watson from Maplesville. Again, this is not guys that played at Alabama or Auburn or UAB or anything like that. These are kids that went to high school in Alabama. All right, in Alabama. Now, that leads me to my second list. And my second list is per capita. Because isn't that important? You know, you think about per capita, you know, how many kids do they have? For example, Florida had 30 drafted. There are 178 players in the NFL from the state of Florida. Wow.
Yeah.
178. But you know what? Florida has 21 million people. 21 million and a half.
Yeah.
21,538,000 people. So Florida has one NFL player per 121,000 people. Now, the flip side of that is what is Florida? You know, home of the newly wedded and nearly dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous. I got a daughter that's moving from California, from San Diego, California, to Florida, to Palm Coast, which is just south of St. Augustine. She's all excited. She's my 38-year-old daughter. Her and her husband are moving from San Diego to Florida, and she's excited because they're going to be closer. They also work for a company that is based out of London, and for them it'll be a 5-hour distance as opposed to being the 8-hour difference it is now.
Yeah.
So it'll be good for them that way. They head up a U.S. base of this London company, and she's going to be a lot closer. Obviously, she's only be 8 hours away. You know, being in St. Augustine and all of that. The thing is, they're young, vibrant, no kids. They're dinks. What do they call them? Dinks. Double income, no kids. They're dinks. Do they use that term anymore?
I don't
remember
know.
that term back in the day?
Heard that in a while. Yeah.
They used to use dinks was a term.
Yeah.
Double income, no kids is
Yeah.
a dink. So they're dinks. They love going out and doing that. They surf. They're into that kind of stuff and everything else. So here they are. They're moving to St. Augustine. And my wife is going to be going down right after the baby shower. My wife is going down there to help her set up her house and everything else.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid they're only going to be there like 2 weeks, and they're going to move back to California. Because when they get there, they're going to realize that, yes, it's closer to the family because all the family lives in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. So, yes, it'll be closer to the family. But when they get there and they realize that everybody is kind of dead there, I'm afraid that we're going to lose them. Anyway, Florida is 1 out of 121,000. Now, Georgia has 10,700,000 people. 10.7 million people is what he said. They have 150 players in the NFL. So Georgia has 1 NFL player per 71,413 people. Louisiana, with 4.6 million people, has 64 players. That's 1 in 72,000. And the third best state in the country for producing NFL talent, by God, state of Alabama, which has 5 million people and has 60 players in the NFL.
Not bad.
1 NFL player for every 83,000 people. Yeah, I'd say not bad. Mississippi is 4th, and then Florida is 5th. Now, if you want, you say about the entire United States, all right, there's 331 million people in the United States, and there's 1,697 players in the NFL. So in the United States, 1 NFL player per 195,000 people. And yet in Alabama, it's 1 per 83,000 people. That's better than twice the national average.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm impressed by that. In Texas, you think about Texas, right? 187 players in the NFL from the state of Texas. Texas has 30 million people.
Yeah.
Texas has 1 NFL player per 155,000 people. Alabama has 1 per 83,000 people. 3rd in the country, Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama. Mississippi 4, Florida 5. What do they all have in common? Well, they represent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 SEC teams.
Yeah.
7 SEC teams represented on this list. All right, hit me with that Tuesday Top 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
All right, we get the break in here. We come back, go back to the phone lines. Brandon is up next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The
2024 season for your Rocket City Trash Pandas rolls on as they return home Tuesday, May 7th for a 6-game homestand against the Mississippi Braves. Promotions for the week include Star Wars Night with a bobblehead giveaway included on Tuesday and a Mother's Day giveaway to close out the week on Sunday. Get your tickets for the Trash Pandas upcoming homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville, Hammock, Alabama A&M, and most of the high schools in the region with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have orthopedic problems and are considering professional care like me, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing in the sport you love, or you tripped on your sidewalk doing yard work like me, you need the best care, the best physicians, and the best facility to get you back in the game. We think that you'll agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. Stay in the game with TOC. All right, to the lines we go with Brandon. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Man, I was doing good, and I was listening to you talking to those numbers about savings. So he averaged about five 5-star recruits a year, which is about 25%, I think, of the total number of 5 stars. There's 20 a year, correct?
There are about almost 30, between 25 and 35 stars each year.
Okay.
And I don't know if they averaged 5. I'm close to it, though, I bet. Yeah.
He had 75 in 17 years,
There you
and
go.
28 of them came from Florida.
Yeah, but that counts guys like J.C. Latham. You know what I mean? And, J.C. Latham, J.C. Latham is a Wisconsin kid. He went to Florida to go to IMG his last 2 years, so Florida gets credit for them. But when you've got a major academy like that where kids come from all over the country to go play, I don't know if I quite count those guys. But still, that was only 3 out of the 30 guys that the state of Florida produced. But, yeah, there's no doubt about it, Florida's a hotbed. But Alabama, Georgia number 1 and Alabama number 3 for players per capita. So, that's important, when you think about how many people live down there.
Oh, agreed. And last week when you were off and some stuff was going on, something got missed, and because it's so close to the spirit and the heart of this show, I wanted to say something about it.
Yeah.
Dickie Betts died last week.
Yeah, we were off after he died, and I always mention Dickie Betts when I talk about the great guitar players of all time, and I watched a lot of Dickie Betts video, after he passed away, the day he passed away. That is sad. 82 years old. We're all a little bit older now, and it just that was sad when Dickie Betts passed away.
I give a tip of the hat to Dickie Betts because after losing one of the Allman brothers, things could have really went to hell for them. He sat down and said, no, we're going to write the greatest album in the history of this band, Brothers and Sisters, and we're going to put it out there, and we're going to move forward. And, man, that was tough to do after Dwayne died. So I know you're really close to that music on the show, so I just didn't want to let it slip by that Dickie had passed.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, and he and Greg Allman, had battles throughout the years, and you just wonder if they could have not done that, whether or not, just how much more great music would have come from those guys. It's just he and Greg. Now, they ultimately made peace at the end, but there was a long period of time where they were at each other's throats.
Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that they had such good success, and then they fell apart after it was over with. And how about your Huntsville Havoc?
How about your Huntsville Havoc? Yeah, one game away from winning it all this year, and it was a great job done by those guys.
When I was listening to Steve, I turned some of that on over the weekend and listened to it, and he was talking about the way the game was being called.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking of that Daniel Day-Lewis Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
Where they all met in the square.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounded like the way Steve was calling the game, that everybody showed up and they had a meeting, they picked what weapons they were going to use, and let's go.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many icing calls they called in that game, but they called a bunch of them.
Yeah. Well,
that felt more like a war.
Yeah. And icing is that's not a arbitrary call, generally. I mean, sometimes they call icing and you don't understand why they called it, if there was a guy that could get to that puck and so on. But for the most part, icing's a pretty much clear-cut deal. It just – the real question is all of the other stuff that went on, goes on out there, all the clutching and grabbing and hooking and tripping and all of that doesn't get called. That's where it becomes a problem. It's a good job.
It was physical.
Yeah, it was definitely physical, as it is in the minors. Not as much as it used to be. I mean, it used to be, 20 years ago when that league started – it was like slap shot.
Yeah,
it was like beer league hockey. You just got out there.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Dudes hated each other. It was just it was just more like a gimmick.
The Havoc figured out that you could beat people with skill and speed.
Yes.
And the Havoc have over the years, the last several years, have not been one of those types of teams where they were always looking for a fight. They always, they had a scrappy guy, but for the most part, the Havoc would beat you with speed and skill, and that was different than the rest of the league. That's why they've been so successful for so many years. All right, coming up next, David Moulton will join us from Miller and Moulton in the morning. Next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. Both Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre Jr. missed the 76ers shoot-around today ahead of a must-win in Game 5 of the first-round NBA playoff series against the Knicks tonight. Embiid already questionable with left knee injury management, had a migraine. He's still questionable. Oubre had an illness, is probable. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio. LeBron James, after the Lakers' season-ending loss to Denver, said he is undecided on his NBA future. He's got until June 29th to either opt into the last year of his contract with LA or become an unrestricted free agent. Meantime, ESPN's Dave McMenamin reports Coach Darvin Ham's job very much in jeopardy. The Lakers will make a decision on his future in the coming days. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis exited last night's win over the Heat with a calf injury. Will undergo an MRI today. Boston up 3-1, hosts Game 5 tomorrow night.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandyman. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show. followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen.
Tonight, stay up for some West Coast baseball from T-Mobile Park in Seattle as Matt Olson and the Braves take on the Seattle Mariners. Braves radio's on the air at 8:25 Eastern, 7:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast through a good chunk of Tuesday afternoon. That activity is going to linger as we head into Tuesday evening. That being said, the afternoon certainly not going to be a washout. We're going to get to enjoy a couple of peaks of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s, lower 80s, dropping into the mid and upper 50s as we head into the overnight. The sunshine returns as we head into your Wednesday, plenty of it, as a matter of fact, and that's going to allow temperatures to climb into the mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. You know, average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is average consumer debt. And even though those rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off the high consumer debt, the student loans, expenses, and so on. And then when the rates drop, you refi. And it's that easy. And don't put off that new home purchase. Get pre-approved now. Because when you're out there looking at a place, they want you to be pre-approved. A lot of places, you know, they won't even let you look at a place until you're already pre-approved. So get pre-approved now and go out and get the best deal that you can get on the new home that you're looking at buying. And then, again, just refi when the rates drop. Usually, it only takes you like 2 months to recoup whatever the closing costs were when you refi. So that's the thing you need to do. Same thing if you're looking at home improvements. Use your equity now. Refi later. It's North Alabama Mortgage. They do a tremendous job there. Brian Hammaker and his team ready to take care of business for you. And that goes for if you're listening in Florida or in Alabama or in Tennessee. All of those places have North Alabama Mortgage servicing them. Speaking of Florida, joining us now on WZZN TV and on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, the one and only David Moulton from Miller and Moulton in the morning. And they start your day off at 5 o'clock on Talk Radio WZZN, 5 to 7 a.m., and then, of course, also with CBS's college football coverage. And I can't get myself to say the Big Ten on CBS. And, of course, with the NFL Monday Night Football on ESPN as well. It's David Moulton. David, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Tom, if you think you're having a hard time saying it, wait until you hear the theme.
I think
all right, when
we're
broadcasting live from Evanston or wherever we're going to be.
I thought it was the same. They didn't change the Did they change the theme? Thank goodness.
No. The theme is CBS's.
I know they stayed with this thing. When I hear that music play, then I'm going to say the SEC on CBS. That's what I'm going to want to say.
When you hear the music, you're going to think, oh yeah, from Bryant Denny. No.
They're I don't think they'll be doing too many games from Northwestern, though. I guess Northwestern's going to be playing in a high school stadium or something like that for the next couple of years. They actually are dropping. They're tearing down the stadium, Ryan Field, and rebuilding the whole thing.
I know. I think they're playing on their practice field for a couple of years. Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that none of the three networks. Maybe that'll be a Big Ten network deal. I don't know, Friday night something, where it will literally look like Friday Night Lights because it will look like a high school game.
It is. It'll look like a high school game. You're right. They're using a practice facility. I thought for some reason it was a high school stadium, but, it'll be a practice facility. Speaking of CBS, by the way, I want to get your take. We'll do a little industry talk. It was announced yesterday that Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason are out of the NFL today. Matt Ryan is in. Nate Burleson does a nice job. He brings some personality. People saying it was about time. They got to get fresher and all of this stuff. And I don't know. I look over at Fox's NFL pregame show, and they got the same group of guys with Terry Bradshaw and with Howie Long and with Jimmy Johnson, and they're all a million years old, and they seem to do a tremendous job. What was your take, when you saw that Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms were out in the NFL today on CBS?
Well, you brought up a lot of things there. I'll try to address them quickly. With Fox, they're the number one rated by far because Fox is the NFC for the most part. Those are bigger markets, better teams. So Fox has been number one in the ratings for most of their 30 years. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Fox is not getting rid of those guys. In fact, they've been begging, Jimmy Johnson has wanted to retire numerous times. Terry's in his 70s. I mean, they are just throwing money at those guys to keep them to keep on keeping on. I mean, they literally fly Jimmy Johnson private from Key West to L.A., and then usually he leaves when the show's done at 1 o'clock. He doesn't even stick around for halftime or the late games unless he's got a personal appearance going on the West Coast, and they fly him home so he gets home late Sunday night. I mean, so that's why Fox isn't going to make any changes until literally the guys say, listen, I don't want to do this anymore. As for CBS, I think, Tom, there's a couple things going on, and you've been the boss and you've worked for bosses. David Burson just took over 2 weeks ago as president of CBS Sports. There's not much for David to do, quite frankly. The college football contract is locked in through, I think, 2030. The soccer deal that they've done with, champions, whatever, but they got that locked in for the rest of the decade. CBS is not in on the NBA. They're not in on the NHL. Their NFL contract goes through about 2034. I mean, there's not much for David Burson to do, but now he can put his stamp on the pregame show, the NFL Today. Phil Simms threw his last pass in the 93 season. Boomer also threw his last pass in the 90s. And I think David Burson thought, we need to get a little younger. We need to get a little more current because we're the lowest rated of the pregame shows. And it's a chance for me to put kind of my stamp on what it is we're going to do. He had 4 guys whose contracts expired. Sean McManus, the outgoing president, didn't renew James Brown, Bill Cowher, Simms, and Esiason, and basically said to his protege, hey, the canvas is yours. You do with this show what you will. And the word is he's re-signing JB and Cowher to 2-3 year deals, and he let Boomer and Phil go. Matt Ryan leaves the booth. and steps in. And J.J. Watt, who was really part-time last year, I think is not going to be every week, but he's going to be like 12 weeks. So, they're getting more current. We have a 24-year-old producer on our show. We asked him, and he said, it's nice to have guys that I've watched play on the show.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan steps in. He doesn't, I thought as an analyst he wasn't overly entertaining. He's not bad or anything. He's just not an entertaining guy. Nate Burleson, I think, is an entertaining guy, very much so. And I wonder if this will loosen him up a little bit, because Nate Burleson, on the other stuff he does, even when he was doing the NFL network stuff and when he does the Nickelodeon game, he's hilarious. I mean, he's really a fun guy. But for some reason, when he was on the NFL Today, maybe the two old guys were slowing him down a little bit. He was more, you know what I mean? He didn't bring that juice.
I also think there was at least one too many people on the set, which kind of got in the way. Everybody's got to have their 2 cents. There's not much time for anything else. The other thing which is interesting about Matt Ryan, and I agree with you, he was steady, but he was in a 3-man booth also. Now he's going to have an hour with 3 other guys. So we'll see if Matt, I mean, listen, when you do a show like that, you got to, I don't necessarily say you got to be a hot take guy, but you have to at least have an opinion. You can't do what Kevin Weeks did last night in the hockey game, in which there were 2 disallowed goals. And when Steve Levy turns to him and says, so what do you think? And he basically goes, well, could have gone either way. Yeah, no blank.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what you think. Would you have counted the goals or not? That's why you have the headset.
Well, that was something that drove me nuts last night when I was watching the Yankees and Orioles game, which was on regional TV. But it was it's the 2 best teams in the American League. It's Michael Kay on the game. Joe Girardi was on the game, who's generally pretty good. David Cone is on the game, and here you got Giancarlo Stanton taking 4 steps off of first, waiting to make sure the ball isn't catched on a line drive to right field. And then once he sees the ball clear to second baseman, he just jogs to second base and gets thrown out from right field on a force out at second, doing that jogging thing. And all these guys would say is how he got caught. Well, he got caught flat-footed. He was in no man's land. Bullcrap. Once that ball clears the guy, you sprint your ass to second base. He's doing the Giancarlo Stanton jog, and nobody would call him out and say, you got to hustle a little bit. Billy Martin would have benched the guy. George would have cut him. I know he's got a huge contract, but it's like some of those things, it's like everybody's afraid to say anything anymore.
Well, Tom, that's what happens when the team or the school is paying the broadcasters. I mean, how critical is the Alabama and Auburn radio broadcasts of Alabama and Auburn? I mean, they don't do everything right. I mean, Nick made mistakes.
Yeah.
His 5-star players screw up.
Yeah.
How critical are those broadcasts? Not very critical. That's when the teams are paying the broadcasters, not the channel that is broadcasting the games. It's tough to have objectivity because the players go and complain straight to the team.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? You're one of us. And then they get talked to and basically, hey, if you do it again, we can get someone else look just like you.
Did you hear the Denver Nuggets play-by-play guy?
Yeah.
Local radio. Was that outstanding? Yep. Take your free throws and go back to La La Land.
Yep. Take your L and your whistle and go back to L.A.
And then when we can't find the cut, when the kid posterized LeBron on the jam, it was classic. I love local guys like that. But it's becoming homogenized. We talked about about John Sterling.
But Tom, but be honest. You do talk radio for a living.
Yeah.
And maybe your audience can handle it. But I have found most audiences, they're okay if one of their own criticizes their team.
Yeah.
But they don't want anybody nationally criticizing their team.
Yeah.
They get bent out of shape. I mean, I work for Gary Danielson.
Yeah.
Gary calls it straight. I mean, you screw up. He says you screwed up. Hey, you should have caught that. That's why Gary's negatives are much higher than Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk hasn't said a negative word about anybody in 25 years. Okay? I mean, I have found, especially in college sports, one of their own can say something critical about their school.
Yeah.
But no one else can. they'll freak out. So you're calling for objectivity, but your base, your listenership right now, listen, it's one thing if Greg McElroy comes on your show and is somewhat critical or questioning what Alabama's doing.
Right.
It's another thing if I do it.
Yeah, no, it's always been the way. There's no doubt about it. We talked about John Sterling leaving the Yankees booth last week or the week before, and one of the two guys that's replacing him is 24 years old. I mean, 24 years old this kid is. Emmanuel Barbareri or something is his name. And I'm listening to the game on the radio, and we have a full generation of people that all they know is watching games on TV and not listening on the radio. And it was driving me nuts. And I try to advise young broadcasters of this, and I do some baseball myself with the, here with the UAH baseball games on college baseball and stuff like that. It's like, can I have a guy's average, please? This is not TV. There's no font underneath there that tells me that Aaron Judge is now hitting 264 after he was hitting 197 or whatever before. Don't just tell me that he's hot. When the guy steps in, say Aaron Judge steps in, he came into the game hitting 234, which is an increase of 40 points, on his average over the last week and a half. Give me the freaking average. I want numbers. Nobody in radio, it seems like anymore, these young guys are not painting the picture and giving us info. They think we're looking at the monitor that they're looking at. There, get off my lawn.
You do know how old you just sounded.
I know, get off my freaking lawn. But, I mean, my God, give me
some.
Tell me, I want to know that the clouds are moving in over the right field fence and there's clouds building over there. I mean, tell me what the hell the batting average is, for God's sake. The ERA,
In fact, Clint Eastwood on the porch is like, hey, old guy, take it easy.
Yeah, knock it off for sure. Speaking of old guy, David Moulton. Well, it's not that you're an old guy, although I do like that you're trying to emulate me and mixing in the beard now. You got the little white beard going on, which is
you know what? When I left television, I realized how much I hated shaving.
Yeah, and
because in TV you have to shave even in between shows.
Yeah.
And man, I hate shaving. And so now that I am just, an older, fat radio guy, just let it rip. I mean, I maybe I shave once a week.
My daughters like mine. They say oh, you have a chin. We didn't know you had a jawline and a chin line. And it's, well, yeah, there you go. So I'm adding some shading to the old face there. But I'm not going to go like LeBron and color it. I mean, LeBron, it's so obvious. All along the edges of his beard on both sides, it's all gray. And it's like, get out of here, will you? If you're going to grow the beard and be proud of your gray hair. Don't be coloring your beard and everything else. And now he's going to do the Brett Favre thing. All summer long, it's going to be, is he coming back? Is he coming back? Is he coming back? Why don't they just make him the player coach? Do the Bill Russell thing or something and let him be the player coach as his career comes to an end.
Listen, there's a lot you can knock LeBron for, but I don't think there's ever been a player at 39 years of age this good.
No,
you do have to give him that. He just averaged 27, 7, and 8 at age 39, and he was playing 38 minutes a night too at 39 years old.
And that's fine, but the record will show he won 3 championships and a half. He won a little 60. He won that little tournament in the bubble.
Oh, come on!
I don't even count that thing. I'm not even counting that thing.
Hold on. Do you count it for hockey? Do you count it for the NFL? They didn't play before fans.
The fans, but they played a full season. They played a full season. I don't count the Dodgers. The Dodgers won a 60-game tournament. That's what the Dodgers won. They won a tournament. That's all. And I don't even count Freddie Freeman's MVP that year, because Freddie Freeman had an MVP because he had a great 60-game stretch. We have 60-game stretches that are great all the time. There should have been no MVP in a COVID year. There you go. I'm pissed.
Well, I'll tell you what, the individual award thing I could go with. 60 games and what that I could go with. But a title's a title. Everybody had to play by the same rules.
Yeah, it was. But that's. Oh, by the way, speaking of
titles,
come
on now. You taking the Dodgers' 81 title away from them? A split season.
But they played 160. They played 144. They played 144 at least.
They played like 60 games in each half.
No, it was more.
They
it was
missed
140.
2 months.
I thought it was 144 altogether, but maybe not. Maybe that was the year 95. That might have been after the.
That was 95.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of titles, I mentioned this in the open of the show. You have had a front row seat, and we do talk a little hockey around here, by the way. But you had a front row seat on that great run of the Tampa Bay Lightning that they've been on over the years. They went to 3 straight cups, won 2 of them at the beginning of the century, including one in the bubble. But we'll give them credit for that anyway. They were in the finals in 2015 as well. They get taken out last night 6-1 by the Florida Panthers, and I just had this feeling with Stamkos getting to the end of his run with the Lightning and everything else. Are we seeing the end of that? Is the Lightning thing over now? Is this pretty much over? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first off, you take a look at the last dozen or so years. Chicago, they had their big three, and when it ended after winning it in 2015, it's been nearly a lost decade.
Right.
Pittsburgh hasn't won a playoff series since winning back-to-back cups in 16 and 17. I mean, this is the price you pay in the hardest cap sport out there, which is hockey. You go all in, you sacrifice all those future draft picks, you pay guys big money long-term, and when the bill comes due, it's bad. In Chicago's case, they got awful. In Pittsburgh's case, they're right in the middle, and that's where Tampa's likely going to be.
Yeah.
Somewhere from above average to pretty good, which might as well be purgatory in the NHL. You're just missing the playoffs. You're just making the playoffs. You're not doing any damage when you get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so, Pittsburgh has their big three, Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. The Blackhawks had their big three of Taves, Kane, and Duncan Keith. Tampa's got really their big four, big five. Yeah, the likelihood is Stamkos. And all the guys, by the way, are signed through age 34. I mean, this is all deliberate by the GM. Stamkos is 34.
Right.
They're going to let him go. Hedman is 34 after next year. See what they do with him. Do they move him now or what have you? All the forwards are signed through age 34. This is the price that you pay in hockey. This is very Golden State Warriors-esque.
Yeah.
Tom. Warriors won their first title in 2015. Lightning went to their first final in 2015. I mean, it was remarkable. They had an 8-year run where they went to 6 conference finals, 4 Stanley Cup finals, and won the trophy twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Heck of a run. It was a heck of a run. Very Detroit Red Wing-like from the 90s, whereas where Steve Yzerman is now, he authored a lot of that in Tampa, and now he's in Detroit. And it's a better NHL when Detroit is good, and so they came close this year to making the playoffs. So hopefully, Yzerman will get the Red Wings into the playoffs.
And quite frankly, Detroit could use a Stamkos.
Yeah, well,
that's
a good point.
They could use somebody to help get them into the playoffs and do some damage. They could use a leader and a winner. By the way, I don't know how much Preds you guys talk. This is a fascinating series.
Oh.
It's not often a team can dominate a series and be down 3-1, and they literally, Tom, have held a team in the playoffs to the fewest shots on goal through 4 games ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
the Canucks have 73 shots on goal in 4 games and lead the series 3-1.
It's crazy. And then the Edmonton Oilers, which have one of the best offenses in all of hockey, only had 13 shots the other night against L.A.
Right.
They were outshot 33-13 and won that hockey game. We had Greg Wyshynski from ESPN.com. He's my hockey guy yesterday. I've watched the Preds for the whole 25 years basically that they have been around, and I've been watching hockey. My first hockey that I personally remember is as a 15-year-old watching the Bruins and the Bruins and the Canadiens play for the Stanley Cup through the snow of Peterborough with the antenna pointing across Lake Ontario so I could pull in the hockey night in Canada and watch the back then when the NHL Stanley Cup Finals they were either on PBS or they were you had to pull them out of some Canadian channel. And I've been watching hockey 48 years. That was the worst loss in a playoff game that I have ever seen in my life. Something has to be the worst. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. From the time the guy hits the post on an empty netter to the time that they give up 2 goals in the last minute and then get beaten in 60 seconds into overtime. That was the worst loss I've ever seen in a playoff game in the history of me.
And Vancouver's down to the 3rd-string goalie. So I'm telling you, if Nashville can win 1 game, if they can force this to go back home, I'm telling you,
they go to
Nashville,
7.
of all the teams down 3-1, Nashville is the best shot to still win their series.
Yeah. If they could do what they won 1 in Vancouver, obviously they got to win 1 to get back to Nashville. If they do that, then it's just going 7. I mean, but we'll see how the whole thing shakes out.
Hey, remember, first round last year, Florida was down 3-1 in the first round of Boston and went all the way to the final. This is hockey.
Speaking of Boston, I said earlier, this is a tough night for me. This is one of the beautiful things about living in the Central Time Zone is that my games will all be over at 8:30 tonight, and I'll have time to watch TV with my wife if she gives me till 8:30, which she will. But this is a too remote night for me tonight because I got the Knicks trying to finish off the 76ers, which would be absolutely glorious. Joel Embiid couldn't practice. They couldn't go to the shoot-around today because he got a headache. That would be glorious. I got the Bruins trying to eliminate the Maple Leafs, and then I got the Yankees and Orioles. All three of those games starting at 6 o'clock Central Time. All three of them will be over by 8:30 Central Time, and then I can watch, NCIS or whatever with my wife. But this is I'm going to be wearing it out tonight, man. It's true.
Context.
Yeah, Chad, once again, it's all about Thom. Just ask Thom. Okay,
exactly.
It's a great sports night. Why? Works out great for Thom.
Have you seen finally the pitch? I posted a picture at my X feed. You can see a picture of the pillowcase that the Georgia Bulldogs wear over the pillow that they have on their head during practice. And it looks absolutely ridiculous. And now the NFL is saying you can wear the pillow on your head during a game. I don't think anybody will. There are some new helmets that came out that NFL is approving, and it's saying even if you wear these helmets, you don't even have to wear the pillow on your head at practice. But my goodness gracious, is this where we're going now with football? We're going to have these guys with pillows on their heads playing football. I mean, I was stunned when I saw that story yesterday.
Are you not going to watch? Is there anything the NFL could do to get you to not watch? Listen, the only thing they're trying to do, Thom, there's two things the NFL's worried about: a gambling scandal and getting sued for something medical. It's the only two things they care about.
These guys, every single player. You talk to ex-NFL players. I ran stuff for the NFL alumni for 10 years. I was their PR guy and ran events for them. Every single guy I talk to, when I say to him, if you know now if you knew then what you know now about the concussions and everything else, would you have played? Every single one says that they would have played. They still would have played.
It's not for the players. This is all about the moms. This is all about moms thinking that the game is still safe enough to let their boys play. Yeah. That's all this is. This is for moms. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, this is not for players. It ain't for you. It's for your wife. That's all.
I'm showing this to people watching on WZZN TV here, right there. See that right there in the back of that helmet? It's a warning. It tells you right there everything you need to know. All right, you decide to put this thing on. These are the things that could happen. Now let's go. All right, stop screwing around. What blows my mind is we let boxers box with no headgear. We let MMA as a legal thing, and then we're worried about football players to the point where they got to go play with a pillow on their head.
It's a $20 billion annual industry. Okay, they're offering funny-looking soft helmets. If you wear them, you wear them. I mean, for the longest time, they didn't wear helmets in hockey. Okay, maybe in 20 years, everybody will be wearing these pillows. Maybe no one will wear them. But
I think we come up with a better helmet? I think that's what we got to come up with a better helmet.
It's all CYA. Come on, I know. This is all CYA. At the same token that they're trying to show that they're into player safety. What have they done? They've brought the kickoffs back to the game. They're talking about an 18-game schedule. Okay, they don't care, Thom. Yeah. They're just trying to give the appearance that they care.
Yeah, the 18-game schedule makes a heck of a lot of sense. That's going to happen.
Yeah,
pretty
darn
soon.
Right it does.
With 2 playoff games, with 2 preseason games. The 18-game schedule, the 17-game thing is just too clunky. 9 at home and.
The only thing about it, though, is they have to negotiate it with the union. They can't just go into a room and say we're playing 18.
Right.
So in this case, if you're the union, besides added revenue, what is it that you can get from the league? Could you get more fully guaranteed contracts? What is it can you get from the league?
Well, the best idea.
You don't have much more leverage than agreeing to play more games.
The best idea I heard, and I think the league will go for it. And there is something, I need to research it, because there was something in the CBA that when they negotiated to 17, that the players gave the NFL the right to do something to get to 18. What the thought was is that they would get to 18. But the best idea I heard, David, is let's go to a 57-man roster from 53, and let's add 4 active guys, because the active guys get paid real money, so that would be that many more jobs for the union. And give me an extra quarterback, an extra offensive lineman, an extra defensive guy, whatever it is, that they'd have 4 more paid guys. And if there's 4 paid guys times 32, now you're adding another 130 guys to the NFL payroll, that may be the trade-off. And the league would probably...
Well, and here's one more thing they should do, and I don't know why they don't. Why do we deactivate 6 or 7 guys on game day? You're paying them a full check whether they play or not.
That's not true. That's not true. See, that's exactly why they don't do it. They do not. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this happened with Joe Flacco. What happens is that if you had a guy signed to that, you activate him on game day, then they put him back on the practice squad 6 times. You can move a guy or 5 times from the practice.
No, but for the game, you get a game check.
Yeah, but it's like a set. It's lower than the minimum. I mean, he was making $100,000 for a game, and it's even lower than the minimum.
Tom, that's the practice squad. I'm talking about you've got guys on the 53-man roster. They're getting full checks. And then 90 minutes before the game, we deactivate 7 of them. That has never made any sense to me. You're paying them a full check, not the other 16 guys on the practice squad, but the 53 get a full game check. Yet only 46 are eligible to play at 1 o'clock. That's asinine.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you're right. All right, David Moulton has been our guest. We groused. I went old man on a bunch of different topics.
Boy, did you ever?
Yeah, I had a little bug up my butt.
See what happens? Yankees lose. Now they're back into a tie for first, and you are just cranky. Have you been this way the whole show?
I almost. Well, you know, my sons too. We got this group. It's just me and my boys, and they text in the text group. It's called the Italian Stallions. And it's me and my 4 sons, and they text during the whole game. And I can't tell you how many times last night I have to be the voice of reason and say, guys, 162, man. 162, all right? It's not the end of the way. They want to, make Stanton walk back to New York, and they want to cut this guy, and they're pissed off that Verdugo is missing 3 games this week in an important series because he's on paternity leave. And my sons are like, what the hell's he doing up? Dad never took any time off when we were born. Dad did the show the day we were born. And they're like, they don't understand.
Yeah, but did you explain to them it was because your wife said, get the hell out of here?
Get out of here.
It's very different.
Yeah, they did. I did a show and then went back to the hospital, picked her up, and took her home. And then I said, are you good? Right. Yeah, okay, I got to go back to the station. But I guess those were different times back then. But, yeah, I have a baseball theory, David, and it's this. It's very simple. Baseball's a 62-game season because everybody in baseball wins 50 and loses 50. You just got to accept that. You're going to have 50 nights. You're going to go to bed upset that your team got whacked 50 times.
Wait, hold on. We began this segment by you not counting the Dodgers 2020 season, and now you want everyone to essentially play the 2020 season.
No. What I'm saying is that 100 games you set aside. You don't know which 100 it is, but there are, like last night, that's just one of the 50 games you're going to lose. Now, the Braves last night, taking a no-hitter into the 9th, having their closer give up a single on a first pitch he throws, and then having a guy hit a 2-run homer and you lose a game that you're pitching a no-hitter, that's one of the 62 that determine what kind of year you're going to have. You're going to lose 50, you're going to win 50. Everybody loses 50 and wins 50.
So let me get this straight. You play the game, and as you're walking off the field, you find out whether or not it counted?
No, you played a game. No, what I'm saying is that you don't know which 62 games are going to be.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you play the game.
You play the game.
It's over. You're walking off the field, and it's kind of like what? You get the shell out? Okay.
It's just one of those. You just say,
if the ball is underneath the shell on the right, the game counts, and if it's on the other one, it didn't count?
If you're walking off the field and you're the Yanks last night, you're like, yeah, that's one of them games we're going to lose. If you're the Braves, you walk off the field and you say, that's a game we should have won.
Yeah. Tom, if you ever say amongst your Italian stallion sons that you're the voice of reason again, I think you need to be slapped. I mean, that's the worst idea I've maybe ever heard.
They wanted to cut Stanton during the game.
New Coke is a better idea than that one.
And with that, we'll end it. Appreciate you as always. David Moulton has been our guest. Check him out. Talk Radio WZZN 5 to 7.
Listen, we have some bad ideas, ladies and gentlemen, but none as bad as the one you just heard, 5 to 7 a.m. weekdays. I promise.
Central Time, by the way. Yeah,
that's what I said, 5 to 7 a.m.
Yeah, Central Time. I just want to throw that in there for our guys. Central Time. All right. Appreciate you as always, man. Good stuff.
Italian Stallions.
The Italian Stallions have spoken.
Gotcha. Good.
Let's get a break. When we come back, we're at a buck stop here. We're downstairs. Did anybody tell them they're allowed to come upstairs? By the way, have you noticed that it's starting to get warm in here? Did you break the air conditioning?
No,
Is it just me?
I think it's just you.
Okay. I'm fired up.
Warm-blooded.
We're starting to get warm.
Yeah, firing up.
All right. The LSU Lynch segment of the show is coming up next, as we will be joined by Matt Patterson and Patrick Harding, the football and basketball coaches from Buckhorn, be joining us here in studio momentarily right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
.97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandyman. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
What if I told you that Bigfoot is real and that he's making the best donuts you've ever had? Come see for yourself at Bigfoot's Little Donuts. Come in and order from over 50 flavors, all made hot and delicious. Ranked in the top 100 donut shops in the nation by Yelp. Bigfoot Little Donuts. Order in store or online at bigfootslittledonuts.com for pickup or delivery from Grub South or DoorDash. South Parkway, Huntsville, and County Line Road, Madison. Bigfoot's Little Donuts.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping destination for Auburn and Alabama fans. Get your baseball gear, graduation gifts, or cheer on your team with the newest apparel, hats, and accessories for the entire family. Shop the newest collection of top brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, Yeti, New Era, plus 2 for $38 shirts. Sign up for the Alumni Hall Hall Pass rewards and earn $10 for every 150 points accumulated. Come see us at Alumni Hall near Belk in the Bridge Street Town Center. Alumni Hall, where the best fans shop.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show, followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
It's not time for Notre Dame fighting Irish football. Notre Dame ripped off the Buckhorn Bucks to get that song. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. The buck stops here is what I like to say, and and the Bucks in this case stop here. As Patrick Harding and Matt Patterson, basketball and football coaches, have joined me here in studio. Those of you watching on WZZN TV, see their smiling faces over there, and we do have, I don't know what we would put for basketball. Maybe we'd have to put a basketball sign by the Bucks or something like that, but we do have a Buckhorn football helmet sitting in front of Matt Patterson as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing good, Tom. How are you?
Jump up, pull them mics right up there on top of you. You got to get a little bit tighter on those. That's good. It's good to see you guys. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on here. Matt, I know you're getting ready for spring ball, and Patrick, I would imagine you got your guys working out, but we'll start with you, Matt. What's the schedule, and what do you got the guys doing now?
Well, we started spring practice yesterday. We had 75 guys out for varsity football. We finished ninth grade practice last week for 5 days, and we had, I think the most we had at one time was 61 rising freshmen. So great numbers coming into the spring. A little bit of problem trying to get equipment on everybody. We were thinking about trying to go all together, but we couldn't. But we're going to go out today, and we'll go full pass today and see what some of these guys can do, what they've been able to do in the offseason.
Today, day 2, you're allowed to pad up today, or not hit, or are you allowed to?
We're going to hit for about 15 minutes.
Oh, so you can do this. So they don't have the rule like the 3 days of just training only or anything like that.
That really only applies to fall camp.
Okay.
So we've kind of acclimated a little bit last week. We just putting helmets on and kind of running, but we're out ready to roll and. Just trying to see what some of these guys can do and try to build some depth for some of our returning starters.
Yeah, and Coach Harding coming off of back-to-back state championships. I mean, it's just amazing to think about that. And, what about your guys now? What do you got your guys doing?
Well, we lift 2 or 3 days a week, and the days we don't lift, we're on the floor. We have 3 that are in spring football now. And we need
how do you manage that? I mean, is that
we just work with the ones that's in the gym. I don't really sweat it too much.
Do you encourage them though to go ahead and do multiple sports? Because a lot of people think that they went through this period of time, and I went from being an athlete to a coach to a parent, and a lot of kids they specialize now. But a lot of college coaches will tell you they really like kids that do multiple things, that play multiple sports, that it's actually healthier for them to do that.
Well, you said it. You're a parent, and I was a parent, and I didn't want anybody telling my 2 sons to play this or don't play that. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted them to figure it out on their own, and if they needed help, their mother and I would help them. So we just let them play. I really don't need to talk guys into playing football, or if they want to play, they play. A lot of kids that are lukewarm, I don't know if you want them out there or not.
Yeah.
But we've got more and more kids doing multiple sports now, and he's got 3 good ones of ours. So I think it's good for our programs.
I had a situation with one of my sons was an outstanding baseball player, and he was a good football player, but he was an outstanding baseball player. He had a chance to play college baseball. He wasn't going to play college football. And when he was a sophomore, he came to me during spring football practice. He was over there, and the baseball was over there, and he's like, "Dad, I got to get over to the baseball." And I told him, I said, "Look," and he had a tendency to get banged up a little bit, went hard all the time. And I said, "Look, your chances of playing college baseball are a lot better than playing college football. If you feel like you need to be with the baseball team, go ahead. It's tough on the kids, though, isn't it? I mean, they feel that pressure because they feel like if they're maybe a little better at one sport or the other, and they know that the other one is going on, they feel that pressure to be with those guys.
Yeah, we got a couple of guys right now that are running track, and they leave tomorrow for the state track meet, and Devin Chapman was one of them. He was kind of wanting to practice yesterday. I'm like, no, you're not practicing. You're in the state high jump on Thursday and Friday. You're one of the top guys. I mean, that's not fair to all those other track coaches and track athletes that are going to state. And I think we had 4 missed yesterday because of that. We're getting 3 back today that are coming back from soccer that finished up Friday. We've got 4 or 5 from baseball the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, we got a lot of guys doing multiple things throughout the school. And, it's been really cool to see a couple of the guys from basketball come to us and say, hey, we want to play. Because, like I said, we ask them, we recruit them, but we don't sit there and hound them or pound them. It's going to be their decision. They got to want to do it.
Yeah.
And then they got to be a part of what we do and, check our boxes as well. But the guys in the past 3 years, they've done a really good job between both of us. So, and a lot of places can't say that.
Well, you had a really scary situation last year. Worst case scenario last year when the Childress kid got hurt during football, and then he was lost for the season football wise. But he ultimately came back and was able to help you guys, I think, in your run to the state championship on the basketball side.
Yeah, no, it's a real credit to him. He got back quick, and I'm real proud of him. He's got a great story. I mean, he tore his Achilles his 9th grade year, and fought back and played his 10th grade year, and tore his ACL and won 2 state championships.
Wow, isn't that something?
That's a great story.
So you're cool with Caleb Holt playing wide receiver this year?
No.
Oh, okay.
Tom,
she could go get it, probably. I mean,
Tom, keep that on the down low, man. That's a surprise. Coach don't even know yet.
We're not going to know about that one. You've got the back-to-back state championships. You've made playoffs back-to-back in football, and last year was a better team than the year before, and the prospects are looking good going forward. Just talk about how when championships are being won in the building by another team, how that can inspire the football program. You know what I mean? Based on what basketball is doing. And we know that football, there's differences in what goes on upstate and downstate. And historically, we have a better chance of winning championships for whatever reason, basketball programs in the north part of the state versus football. But just how meaningful it is that to have those state championships and then how it affects your football program.
Well, I think our kids take a lot of pride in it when they see anybody be successful. I mean, the baseball playoffs last 2 weekends, if you walk in the outfield, there's football players and basketball players everywhere.
Yeah.
So they're supporting each other. And, you go to Birmingham and Wallace, and there was multi-athletes and student body was there. I mean, it was, they're cheering for each other. They're friends, and, you got them in class, and they kind of pick at each other a little bit playfully. But at the end of the day, they got their back, and they want them to succeed. And then, just as a coach at the school, man, it's been a lot of fun just going and watching them guys play, and you feel like you're a part of it because you're around those kids every day. You got some of them in your classroom.
Right.
You're really excited for all the guys that put in the work that deserve to win the state championships.
We were talking about the earlier in the show. The state of Florida produced 30 guys in this year's draft. However, 3 of those guys are IMG Academy guys, and including J.C. Latham, who played for Alabama. That kid played his first 2 years of high school football in his home in Wisconsin and then went to IMG. Now, you've got an outstanding basketball player in Caleb Holt, and that's a situation that you got to think about, I would imagine, every year, is whether or not a kid is going to leave to go to someplace like that. But in the case of Caleb Holt, why would he have to leave? I mean, every team in the country, every college in the country is on him anyway. It's not like he has to go someplace to get noticed.
Yeah, Duke was here last week, and Alabama's here today.
Yeah, you think they don't know about him?
Yeah, I think I think all the goals that Caleb and his family want to accomplish, they can do that at Buckhorn. At the same time, I realize that practicing and playing against 4 and 5 stars every day at a IMG or a Mount Verdi could be beneficial to him. And I don't worry about it because I don't have any control over it. We say all the time we're in the memory-making business at Buckhorn. I want our basketball program to be the most memorable experience that a kid can have. And so if I just make the product as good as we can make it, that's really all I can do.
Yeah.
And make a schedule that's challenging, and then we go play in front of people. We try to do that. And so, I think I think they're real happy with the way things are going, but I also you would have to be open to other ideas and opportunities as well.
Yeah, and you got to support the kid at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how you feel about it. Matt, you had a number of players this year go on to play and sign with colleges. You've already got kids off of this upcoming team that are being looked at as well. And and I would think to a certain extent the notoriety that you guys have been able to get, with all your games being on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and on the app where people are listening and following it all over the country, that's got to be a benefit to take a Yaya Landrum who's getting noticed now at places. Those coaches and whatnot know that they can kind of follow those games and go back and check and listen to them, on the on SoundCloud or whatever it is. That's got to be a benefit for those kids getting that kind of exposure.
There ain't no doubt. I mean, I've told you before, I've went and I think we played Grissom on Thursday, and I started my trip to Montgomery on Friday for the playoff meeting. And, you said Aniana a while ago, and I mean, I was actually in Aniana, and I could hear the Madison Academy game because they were on the air that night because we played the night before. And I just said to myself, from Aniana to Fort Payne to Muscle Shoals, you're hearing Buckhorn football every Friday night. And, if you're on this channel.
Not to mention to Fayetteville, Winchester, into Tennessee.
Sure, just in Alabama. Yeah. But how many people tune into 97.7 on the scoreboard show, and our game's not over yet, and they get to hear us, and they get to hear you say we won a game or whatever it may be. You hear our names, and, I mean, when you approached us a couple years ago about this idea, it was a no-brainer on our end, and it's worked. I think our sponsors have been real pleased with it, and, my idea was to increase the brand, and I think between the two of us, we've really done that for Buckhorn High School and the New Market community.
And Coach Harding, you've won two state championships on our air, so you're contractually obliged to continue until you don't win one. So, I mean, you can't change anything. You know what I mean? Don't change the uniforms, don't change the socks, don't change anything, including in playing. But it's got to be the same thing though for your kids to be able to be heard, throughout the state and throughout the area. And especially when you've played the way you've played the last couple of years. I can't tell you, outside of LSU Lynch, who is a Hazel Green guy through and through. He's a Trojan. He's probably not even listening. Is he on the line yet? No? Okay. He's probably not even listening yet. Yeah. I would guess is that he's not even listening anymore. But, just so many folks that are just fans of high school basketball that tune in, and now they're Buckhorn Buck fans because, A, you're winning, and 2, they can tune in their favorite station, ESPN Radio, and listen to the Bucks play hoops.
Yeah, Matt mentioned the sponsors are happy with it. They're getting, I think they're getting a benefit from it, and it's a great service as a coach to the families because we've got people listening in Houston and in St. Louis and back at my previous school, Albertville. I'm always getting texts. I listen to the game, and so Buckhorn's able to be, he mentioned the brand. We wanted to raise the exposure and the profile, if you will, of Buckhorn athletics, and I think you guys have done a great job of helping us do that.
Well, it's been a great program to follow and will continue to be, too. It's just tremendous. All right, let's grab a quick break. We'll come back and wrap it up with the coaches. It's the Coach's Corner. It was my very first radio show, by the way. It was called the Coach's Corner, and I'll explain that as well when we come back right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show. followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Carey all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
And a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezers free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen.
Tonight, stay up for some West Coast baseball from T-Mobile Park in Seattle as Matt Olson and the Braves take on the Seattle Mariners. Braves radio's on the air at 8:25 Eastern, 7:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
I want to thank you. Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental is a family-owned business serving the entire Tennessee Valley area. You know, they base their business on their customers, pride themselves in customer service and treating people the way they would want to be treated. Valley Equipment services the needs of contractors and landscapers, homeowners, do-it-yourselfers. And the owner, Ross Roberts, he grew up in the equipment rental industry, and now they have two tremendous locations for you on the North and South Parkway. Ross always stepping up to support all the causes, too, of the Tennessee Valley. They are great people, and they will help you get the job done. That's Valley Equipment Rental. We have a couple of coaches in studio with us. Patrick Harding here, along with Matt Patterson. And, guys, I was saying my first radio show, so I was a high school football coach and then a college football coach. And then when I retired from college football coaching, I started doing games on the Empire Sports Network, college football, and the Patriot League and the Ivy League games and so on. And a local radio station said, "Hey, do you want to come in and do a show on Saturday mornings, recapping high school football and then talking about the day in college football coming up?" And they're like, "What do you want to call it?" And I said, "Well, let's call it Coach's Corner," because I was a coach then, and you know everybody, and so that's how it all started. I was actually writing an article called Coach's Corner in a newspaper, and doing this deal. So it always has been a great benefit. And, you know, we talked about cross-promotion of the sport. When I was a college football coach, when we recruited in the wintertime, we'd go watch them play basketball. Because you would learn so much, especially with some of the big kids. But, you know, if you're looking at a kid that was a receiver or a quarterback or whatever, it was amazing how when you saw them in their underwear playing basketball, you could really tell what kind of an athlete that they are. And you know, and that's a key thing.
Yeah, I've heard similar stories, and the fact they're not wearing helmets, you see them interact with coaches and other players, and you can tell a lot. And it's a pretty intimate setting too. You're there close, so you can see and hear a lot.
And it's amazing how sometimes a coach or a player, an outstanding player, will bring exposure to other players on the team. I was at what game of it was yours? It was one of your games I was at. I can't remember. Oh, no, was it? It might have been Grissom. It might have been a Grissom game at home. I don't know if you played him there at home or not, but I'm not sure which one it was. Bruce Pearl was at the game, and I stood next to Bruce. I know him from my time in Nashville when he was at Tennessee, and we chatted a little bit, and we were, he was obviously there to see Caleb. I forget who it was, but he mentioned one of the other guys on your team. He says, boy, that so-and-so is a pretty nice little player right there.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, that's a very important thing. Guys can come to see one kid and they see another.
Yeah, today, just this morning, this is the last day for college coaches to get out for this particular period to see kids. And he asked for Jeremiah. What's Jeremiah doing? Was Jeremiah, can he be there today? So it's pretty cool. That's cool to see that. Yeah.
Well, guys, we wish you the best of this upcoming season. Can't wait for another year of Buckhorn sports here on the Zone, and I appreciate you coming by and stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Paul Feinbaum is coming up next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City trash pandas are on the road